Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot. And to this Monday's reading, we are going to be getting you guys a message for the new Celtic season of Mabon. The Celtic Wheel of the Year has 8 seasons. This one lasts from the equinox, so whether if you're in the northern hemisphere it's autumn equinox, if you're in the southern hemisphere this is spring equinox, but it lasts from the equinox until approximately Halloween. It's celebrated November 1st the next season, which is Samhain. Okay, so we are going to choose 3 piles to get a message for you from this season, something to pay attention to and focus on in the coming sort of 6, these seasons last about, are they 12, 6 weeks? Let's see. They're about 6 weeks long. I think that's correct. So for the coming 6 weeks, some kind of theme and message and guidance coming through for you guys. Feeling this one. We've got, 2 came out here. Corn Maze and Apothecary Cabinet. Let's get one more pile, and Breathwork. Beautiful. Okay, so if you feel called to more than one pile, that is perfectly fine, but at least one pile should have a message for you into this season. Again, pile 1 is Corn Maze, pile 2, Apothecary Cabinet, and pile 3 is Breathwork. Feel free to pause here if you need a little more time to fill into the piles. When you're ready, timestamps are in descriptions, and I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your season of Mabon reading. So just a little bit, I probably should have done this in the intro, but I realized that I should talk a little bit about this season. So I'm just going to read sort of like the first paragraph from the guidebook to give you a little insight. The wheel now turns to Mabon, the beginning of fall. The Sabbat, which is one of the 8 Celtic seasons, this Sabbat represents balance, a slower pace, and evaluating your progress. But we also feel a need to highlight the warmth and coziness of autumn days. So we bring focus and attention on the darker, richer tones of the fall season. And then a few kind of like areas of focus: agriculture, ancestral healing, balance and transitions, concentration, endings and mourning, goals and accomplishments, gratitude, grounding, healing and self-care, planning and preparation, sharing, and wisdom. Okay, so you guys picked Corn Maze. It's the 8th card in this deck. And it says, although your path is unclear, it is there waiting for your faith to lead you. Okay, so let's get a little more from the book on this. Let's see. Okay, keywords: compromising beliefs, falling off the path, getting lost, and authenticity. Your higher self chose this card because life is a lot like going through a corn maze. It's a series of choices that will either lead you to freedom manifested in feelings of joy, success, feeling loved and supported, or choices that lead you to feeling stuck, stagnant, confused, and lost. The next choice is always a flip of the coin and will bring you closer to or further away from your desired outcome. Just like a corn maze, you don't get a map or chance to plot the way before going in, but you do have a built-in guide in the form of your inner self, which knows exactly the way to go, when to turn, and when to head back and start again. Your inner self speaks to you through your beliefs and feelings, and is speaking to you now through this card, letting you know you have been going in the wrong direction. If you're inquiring about a future decision, receiving this card is a definitive no. This is not the path to take. Instead, you are being asked to go back and start from the beginning. What are your values and core beliefs? What are you hoping to gain from this situation? Or who are you attempting to become? Have your choices supported future versions of yourself and your life? Finally, where have you compromised your life's vision in pursuit of goals and expectations that belong to someone else? Corn Maze offers a final message. There is more than one way to achieve a goal. The path you are on now is not the way, and there may be another path that is much better suited to you. To find this path, take time to find out who you truly are now and who you are becoming. Then your inner self will have what it needs to take you from point A to point B. So very interesting. And I definitely, don't take this as a whole, like that everything you're doing is the wrong path. I would imagine if you came to this pile, there's probably already something you're questioning, and that would be what this is regarding. Our soul, our inner self, when we tune into it, can feel when there's some kind of resonance off with something. So what is that to you? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be all sorts of things. But what is that thing when you just tune into yourself right now? Like, give yourself a few seconds, like even pause this and just get quiet and sort of ask, like, where is my resonance off? Where is something not? Where do I feel like I've kind of veered off course because I'm following, an expectation or what other people are doing, or just a series of choices kind of led me to a circumstance that maybe isn't feeling quite where I want to be, like what is that thing that you kind of feel maybe that even like you're in a maze right now, you're a little lost. And it's like, how can you kind of go back to square one? Start at the foundations of like, what do I want here? How do I want to feel about this aspect of my life that you connect to as being a little off course? What is it I want to feel here? That's one way of, instead of sort of saying like, what do I want to achieve somewhere? Going and saying, how do I want to feel in this aspect of my life, rather than, because I would imagine, and going into autumn, we start going into that darker time, and it's more about inner landscape versus outer landscape. And when we talk about like goals, if we say, I want to achieve this or this or this, that's sort of an outer landscape. But if you say, I want to feel this way and feel that way, that's more of an inner landscape. So my suggestion, just based on the season, what's coming up is, and even like the moth here, and we're under a night sky, is like more coming back to like how I want to feel in a certain path or a certain category or a certain aspect of life, and kind of scrap that achievement. Like, what is it you're looking to achieve? What is it you want to feel there? That, I don't know, that's just like another message sidewise that kind of came up here. Okay, we're also going to get another, from another Celtic deck, the Celtic Spirit Oracle, to see if this might hint a little bit more at what this relates to, or what you need to tap into to help you with this. We'll see what comes out. And we've got the Weaver, Fate, Manifestation, Decisions. Yeah, there's something. And look at this spider on this card. It's even kind of taken itself out of the pattern it's weaving. Almost like it's taking a step back to say, like, what am I weaving here? What are the patterns? So it's almost like whatever resonates for you about where you're off kilter a little. If nothing came to mind, this spider card or the weavers makes sense in terms of what the image is showing, that like you might need to step back and look at certain patterns that you are creating in your life. What is it that you're weaving in your life? And how can you, by taking that step back and observing a little bit more, see where you're kind of missing some threads, right? This spider is weaving something very beautiful, but maybe it's sort of like, oh, I can't see where I'm supposed to, connect the next thread or the whole picture of what I want to weave here. And maybe I just need to take a step back to get a better feel for that. So it may not even be about something specific. It may be about like the way you are patterning your life. The things that give you your yes no's to make certain decisions. How are you tapping into those? This might be just like a more broad thing that's coming through here. It's like, what is that metric you're using to make decisions in your life? Are you making decisions to make other people happy? Are you making decisions out of fear? Are you making decisions, like what is the pattern here about decisions you make? And how is that affecting the way you are manifesting in your life? And by taking that kind of step back and observing your patterns around decision making, how can that help you to get back on track, back into going through that maze of life in a way that feels more intuitively rich to you, more connected to who you are and what you need and what your soul is asking you to learn in this lifetime, or at least at this moment in life? Like, where is it you're really wanting to go? What is it you're really wanting to do? What are, like, how are you tuning into yourself to make certain decisions? There's something here that needs to be examined. And maybe even for you, it's like, for some of you, you may need to be tuning more into what you actually need versus like pleasing others, or whatever else is the measuring stick for a decision. But some people here may actually need to be more, because autumn is that time of being a little bit more cooperative and communal. And are you weaving certain patterns in your life that are more isolated or more self-serving? And do you need to make some decisions that are a little bit more community-centered or relationally centered? So like whatever it is for you, but like where are decisions? How is the way you're making decisions affecting what is manifesting in your life? And by really keeping an eye on patterns there, how can you make some adjustments to that to get into a much better pattern here? So really big, important stuff coming through. Let's get some guidance from the tarot cards. Just a few cards. We'll see if it gives us some extra insight into what this is trying to talk about, or insight or guidance, just whatever wants to come out. So we've got the Green Woman, which is the Empress, and it is, the Empress does have a lot to do with manifesting and really being in touch with how to feel creative and fertile in life. And then we've got Nine of Bows, and Nine of Bows is a lot about stepping back to reflect on your patterns, on where you've come from, on how, reflecting in order to gain and integrate insight and wisdom about, the big picture of life, the big journeys you've been on. And the keyword on this particular card says respect. So that's another keyword. How are you respecting? And I feel like this is in relation to the Green Woman. How are you respecting your own creative force, your own sense of life being fertile? How have you made decisions based on those, being plugged into your perceptions and being guided a little bit more through perceptions? And embodiment and preference. And so it does, to me, this does say a lot about like needing to be a little bit more in tune with yourself. I was, because I did bring up that maybe some of you need to be more in tune community spirit and decision making. But I feel here this is saying that it's like being more in tune with your own creativity, your own life force, your own sense of embodiment even, and preference. And really, the Empress to me is very aware of her perceptions and how she feels, rather than these like objectives and aspirations and outer world goals. They're more like, I want to create this because I want to feel something, right? I want to feel a certain way. So taking a step back to kind of tune into the way in which you do get in touch with your preferences, your fertility, your creativity, your knowing that you can create in life, and that creative spirit within you. And how by being more tuned into that will decision making be something that creates more manifestation, more pleasure, more beauty in life. And then we've got the Ace of Stones. Something about this and the journey you'll be on during this Mabon season is showing that you're going to find your grounding much more powerfully and in a much more embodied way. And that is going to help you to create better foundations for yourself, the foundation of life. Yeah, I think whatever goes on around this in the next 6 weeks, you're really going to have some insight and some awakenings around being much more connected to embodiment, your perceptions helping you to connect to your creative energy, and that bringing you some embodied power, some material power, some foundational power. Really cool, beautiful reading. I wish you guys a gorgeous Mabon. Definitely one that is, I think, going to really empower you, but will take a little bit of observation and, work at the start. But what an outcome, right? Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate support. Likes, shares, subscribes are an easy way to do that. Kind and thoughtful comments are also always appreciated. But in general, just thank you for being here and letting me read for you guys. And I will see you in future readings. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your Mabon season reading. So the 6 weeks from September 21st until about the 1st of November, or at least the first week of November. I forgot in the intro to just talk a little bit about Mabon. I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but I just thought I would read, from the guidebook of this seasonal deck a little bit about it. So the wheel now turns to Mabon, the beginning of fall. This season represents balance, a slower pace, and evaluating your progress, but we also felt the need to highlight the warmth and coziness of autumn days, so we were intentional about focusing more on the darker, richer tones of the fall season. A couple of focuses of this season: agriculture, ancestral healing, balance and transitions, concentration, endings and mourning, goals and accomplishments, gratitude, grounding, healing and self-care, planning and preparation, sharing and wisdom. Okay, so for you guys, your Mabon season card is the very first card in the deck, and it's Apothecary Cabinet. And it says, without practice, without befriending them, they are strangers in your path. So we're going to read more from the guidebook. Let's see. Okay, keywords: tools, a need to develop skills, and hard work. Your higher self chose this card because your journey is just beginning, even if it feels as though you have walked this road for ages. There are skills, resources, or tools you need before you can begin the work of calling in those big dreams. For example, when attempting to manifest more wealth, consider whether you need to overcome limited financial stories or destructive money habits that are sabotaging your efforts. Receiving a loving partner may be blocked to you until you do the inner work of loving yourself. Experiencing supportive friendships may require you to eliminate friendships that are toxic and draining. Taking the time to do this inner work now will save you many days, months, or even years of starting over. Your soul has selected this card to gently encourage you to be honest about where you are in your journey and what's realistically needed to begin to see results. All transformation begins with awareness, and starting where you are is the first step towards a radical shift in your situation. Your life could be completely different 6 months from now with the right tools at your disposal and a willingness to do the work. This is talking about if you pulled a specific other card in conjunction with this, so I won't go into that. There's a ritual with this card too that I think I'll read just to give more context. The purpose of this ritual is to connect and set an intention, a step many people overlook even though it's vital in a spiritual practice. Everything has a spirit and thus should be respected, and a relationship should be built between you both. Do this simple but powerful ritual with tools, plants, and anything you use or work with in your spiritual practice. Sit in a quiet space with your tool or tools. Place the tool in front of you and hold your hands over it. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, and on the last exhale, be mindful of relaxing your body. Think about the intention you want to set and speak it out loud 3 times. Let the tool know how grateful you are and that you're looking forward to creating magic together. So it is talking about doing some work in terms of, I don't know, for a lot of people that came to this pile, you may feel like you're beginning something new in your life, or want to begin something new, or would like a new kind of skill or tool to add to, a cabinet of other tools, metaphorically speaking, right? But this is saying that there's something you could at least initiate during this season to add to your tool belt. So whatever that means to you, whether that's sort of more idealistic work, like it talked about, like working on loving yourself, or working on, limited beliefs about your finances, or it could be something more pragmatic, like literally learning something new, like an instrument or a language, or taking a class to enhance, or give you a new kind of certification in something in the industry you're in, or in the kind of career you're seeking. So whatever it is to you, what is that thing you're wanting to really do some development on in new ways this season? So plug into that. Okay, we're going to pull another card from the Celtic Spirit Oracle, which might give a little bit more direction here, a little more insight into what this apothecary cabinet is trying to point you toward. And we have the Hare, Otherworld, Shape-shifting, and Fertility. This feels more sort of like the fertility is the thing that's sticking out quite prominently to me about this, that what do you need to add to your beliefs about yourself or your skill sets that makes you feel more in touch with your sense of creativity and And, you know, shape shifting is interesting here too. That, like, I think even some small skill set or some small work on yourself that may seem small, it may seem insignificant, is actually going to be a thing that, like, changes you. That you know, brings a sense of shape shifting to you. It changes you in some way, in some bigger way than you would anticipate. So if you're not quite sure what this thing is yet, like, you know, write it on a piece of paper that, like, what is the new thing I want to develop or work on that gets me in touch with my sense of fertility in life, as in, you know, as in creativity. It's very interesting. There is a thread going on here. Pile 1 had some things come up about that as well. So if you did feel called to pile 1, you may get some extra stuff from that. But things sticking out more specific in this reading is like, you could open yourself up to new possibilities. You could experience a whole sense of change of how you see yourself, or some aspect of yourself that you wouldn't anticipate by really engaging in some self-development here, in something kind of, you know, like a new focus or a new skill. Yeah, really interesting. Okay, so it's almost like, you know, looking at this apothecary cabinet, it's almost as if the thing you choose to work on, the tool you choose to add to the cabinet, is something that's like really big. It's almost like the this moon phase stuff at the top is like, if that hadn't been there and then that gets placed there, it like makes something so much more significant and adds so much more gravity to the cabinet in general, to the whole feel of what's going on here. So it almost feels like it's like, that's the kind of, you know, like you may not, when you decide to say like, oh, I think it would be pretty to like paint some moon phase stuff on this cabinet. And then when it's done, it's just like transformed it, and you didn't really have any anticipation that it would add that much gravity or add that much specialness to something here. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Okay, we are going to do just a few tarot to end, some guidance about all of this apothecary cabinet additions that this season wants to talk to you about. We've got 2 of bows. Yeah, there's something opening up in you. What is the thing you want to work on some self-development in, whether it's internal or a new literal skill set? It's something that will really like fine-tune a direction your life goes in. Yeah, fascinating. Filling this card, we've got Page of Bows. Yeah, new passion coming in. Very fresh energy with this. And I love that this is a 1 card. You know, Apothecary is the first card, and then also the hair being 28, when you add that up, reduces down to a 1 as well. There's some kind of new start coming in for you guys, I think, this season. Interesting. Okay. And then last card, we have 6 of Vessels. Oh, I love that. That feels like you getting in touch with some of your deeper emotions as well, and really being able to use memory and your inner child and empower certain ways you connect into emotion and feeling. You know, the 6 of Vessels may have something to do with this new development or the new path, where it's like really being able to tap into memory, emotion, feeling, inner child, associations from your childhood too, that brings this like really potent and powerful energy to your life, and a new sense of kind of just beauty, like a more refined beauty into your life as well. But it's interesting because there's something very new going on here, but it's like you're drawing from things, you know, from your past at the same time. So it's like either newly aligning with things that come up and people that come up from your past, or just drawing on memory and emotion from that or from your inner child. But it's like there's a deepening of potency here that's taking place through connecting to feeling and emotion. Yeah, really cool. So it's, you know, still a little bit of a mystery, and it's probably because it's so different for each of you, of like what it is you're supposed to start or work on or develop about yourself or add to your skill sets. Yeah, there weren't like super specific things, other than there's something about like, you know, really drawing on things from your past, memories, emotion. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty wide open, but my sense is that it's because it's, you know, a different thing that you each are adding into your apothecary cabinet, right? Metaphorically. So yeah, write something down about this where you can tune into it every day, so you can start to pay attention, because whatever it is that you have, like that this season is saying, is like ripe for you to work on and develop or newly do. Is like, yeah, I just feel the weight of like a sense of beauty that it's going to bring to your life. So, and change, like that shape shifting and that other world, it's just like opening you. And the Two of Bows is like a new path. So yeah, pay attention to new things coming in that you suddenly have this urge to want to develop or, yeah, tune into. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate support, likes, shares, subscribes. Kind and thoughtful comments are always something I'm grateful and have fun looking at. And yeah, just happy Mabon season, wishing you the best with it, and I will see you in future readings. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your Mabon season reading. Before I get into your breathwork card, which kind of brings the overarching theme that this season, you know, wants to bring you a message about, I forgot in the intro to talk a little bit about the season of Mabon, which lasts from September, I think this year it's actually 22nd, until about November 1st, or into the first week of November, really. So I'm just going to read the first quick paragraph from this guidebook to kind of anchor you into the vibe of the season. It says, "Hello again. The wheel now turns to Mabon, the beginning of fall. This Sabbat, or season, represents balance, a slower pace, and evaluating your progress. But we also felt a need to highlight the warmth and coziness of autumn days. So we were intentional about focusing on the darker, richer tones of the fall season. Some general areas of focus for this season are agriculture, ancestral healing, balance and transitions, concentration, endings and mourning, goals and accomplishments, gratitude, grounding, healing and self-care, planning and preparation, sharing and wisdom." Okay, so let's tune in to your card more specifically, which is breath work. And I love the image of the woman on this card. She just feels like in her element, like she's got her feet on the ground, but is like very much so also in touch with the divine and the cosmos. She's just like very connected to all the things, all the elements, all of the higher and lower. Okay, so on the card, it says, allow your breath to expand your spirit and fill your heart. Yeah, I love that. Okay, and then in the guidebook a little more, it says keywords: finding space, soul nourishment, and freedom. Your higher self chose this card because you're in need of more space, expansiveness, and freedom in your life. Your body contains your soul, but your spirit is boundless and needs ample space to express itself in every way necessary for you to feel fulfilled. When you take in a breath, you're breathing the air that has at one point or another touched every surface of the earth. Every animal has felt this breath you're now taking in. Every ocean, sea, and river has held this air within its molecules, and this air has fallen to the ground to nourish plants through the form of rain. You too are as limitless and expansive as the air you're breathing right now, yet you haven't given yourself the space to explore all of your desires. This card has come to you to encourage you to follow all intuitive pings that stir your soul. If you're interested in trying something new, such as a hobby or exploring a different place to live, then give yourself permission to wonder, what if? What could happen if you did what made you happy versus what you're expected to do? How might you experience more passion, fulfillment, and even courage if your decisions were based on what brings you joy? Receiving this card is your invitation to ponder what could be. You don't have to act on anything that doesn't feel like the right way forward. Instead, think of this process as a trial period, a chance to try something on with the guarantee that it can be returned if it doesn't fit. For now, allow yourself to explore the possibilities and see where this leads. I love this because it does connect into some of my own thoughts about this season. So within this season, the whole of Libra season is contained. And I have like some developmental ages that I place on each sign. And that Libra season really contains those years when we tend to have a midlife crisis, when we kind of tune into ourselves in a way to ask those what if questions. Like, I've sort of done my life for others out of expectation, or because there's certain things I got in my head that I was supposed to do or should do or wanted to think were the right path for me for whatever reason. But now that I'm here, now that I'm looking back on how I've gotten here, something's off, right? I feel like I could be happier. I feel like I know myself better, so I can make pivots in where my life is going, and make pivots to put myself into a resonance that is more me, that is more authentic to where I can plug into life in a way that's really more easy to breathe. And we also, so those midlife crises are kind of like mid to late 40s usually-ish in there. But we have this every year around the autumn equinox, this moment to do this yearly kind of yearly life, midpoint crisis or whatever you would say. And this, I feel this card tapping into that in a way of like, where have I come from? And so by looking back and seeing that, I can see where that's going to take me versus where do I actually want to go, and what are the pivots and what are the things I could say what if right now and explore right now that could change where I'm gonna go, where I'm gonna land. Like, yeah, it's like this moment to really really feel into what would actually give you that easy breath, right? What would actually allow you to breathe easier in life. And sometimes it's scary to think about that because you might have to really shake some things up to step into that, to make decisions that take you to that place, because it does mean kind of shaking some things up sometimes. But this doesn't have to be something grand, like a literal midlife crisis for you guys. It can be, because this is more of a yearly thing, can be in more minor ways, but it's sort of like tapping into like those, exploring the what ifs. What if I moved here? What if I changed careers? What if I decided I'm not a career person? What if I learned the cello? What if I, like those grand things that your soul is just calling you to, that might shake something up in life, but that bring you closer to your easy, expansive breath, your ability to breathe more expansively. Okay, we are going to get a Celtic Spirit Oracle card as well to get more context around this. Step out, hidden courage, camouflage. So this to me definitely feels like you maybe already have, like in a camouflaged way, been like thinking about something or observing something, but it's something you maybe haven't really shared or allowed yourself to really ask those questions of what if. And this is saying it's time to garner the courage, find that courage to step out from the hidden, from the camouflage, from those desires that you already sort of know. To me, this is like you already know them, but it's like, for whatever reason, probably circumstantially, it's like, but that's not accessible to me, or that wouldn't be right for me to ask for that for myself, or I'm not good enough for that. Whatever it is, there's something where it's like, no, step out, have some courage, ask for it, take a step towards it, open your heart to it. Ask what if, and then open your heart to that possibility and see what dominoes start to fall and create a path forward. I love that for you guys. I love it for where this reading has, come from. It's not just dreaming. It's saying take it a step further. Actually have some courage with this, because I think it's something you've already been dreaming about. Okay, let's get a few tarot cards to end, some guidance for you guys. We've got Queen of Arrows, which is the Swan. And this is saying that, like, stepping out, having courage around those what ifs is something that could be really transformative, really turn you into your most sort of like graceful, elegant sense, where you feel that, the Swan and the woman on that breathwork card have a similar essence to me. There is just this like grace and fluidity and ease, and I just do want to challenge you to say, like, where is it that you're really wanting to breathe easier? And what are those what if questions that allow you to dream, that take you to that? And then going a step further than the dream, how can you have some courage around that? Because this season wants you to turn into the Swan version of you. The Queen of Arrows can also be a little bit decisive and cool sometimes, and so that may be something you have to step into, making some decisions that are kind of sharp, or perceived as sharp, or at least that you might perceive as sharp, but it's like, but ultimately those decisions and that way of being is like bringing you into your essence. Then we have King of Vessels. Look at all this water. This is such flowing, flowing water. And I know I don't know if all eels are, but I know some have like an electric current in them or some, I don't know where I'm pulling that from. I might be wrong, but I think there's some kind of electric quality to eels. And just looking at the current around this eel and the flow, it's like something would add some electricity to your life by being a bit courageous around the what if questions, around the dreams. There's just like this perfect quality of peace in this card as well. And then, oh, I didn't notice the sword etched onto the stone here is like strength in your fluidity. This is sort of like the guidance coming here for me is like when you feel something is so right and you find the courage to step out, just be like really strong about it. Just stand in the strength of you knowing it's the right decisions that you're making, the right moves you're making. It's like, you know it's solid, you know it's true, you know it's core for you, so just stand in that. Yeah. And then the last card, 10 of Bows with responsibility. I feel like that's where you are. I feel like you're burdened. I feel like you're holding the weight of things that aren't where your grace and ease and essence lie. And there's like no need. There's no need to be responsible for things that aren't really meant for you. And it's like, what can you just kind of put down to breathe easier, to be in your essence, and to let life expand and grow so much more easily and naturally and correctly for you? What is that burden you need to put down? It's not yours to carry. It's not, I mean, I don't want to say it's not yours to carry, but it's like not for you. It's not, I don't know. In that 10 of Bows, you know, it is like so close to the finish line, and it's that point where you can kind of call out and ask for some help. So this may also in another way be saying like you're close to the finish line of carrying some burden that like really isn't in your essence. So it's just like, you know, get it to its finish line. You're so close. But then don't do that again. Flow with where your essence is, flow with what makes you breathe easy, make decisions based on easy breath. And this isn't lackadaisical or lazy, it's easy because it's your essence. It doesn't mean that there aren't hard things and responsibilities on that path, but they're easier because they're part of your essence. You're more natural at it. There's more grace there. There's more strength there because it's right. I feel like that decision is up to you to whether or not to like cross the finish line with something right now or to just like abandon ship. It's like on one hand, you're so close. So like for me, I like to follow through with things, but for you, you may just feel like there's nothing for me at that follow through though. Like I've realized like this is all for naught. There's even if I cross that finish line, it means nothing. It does nothing. You make that decision. Whether you like the follow through or just recognize it's like pointless. But either way, it's like you're close. You know, 10s are that paradigm shift. You're at the end of the line of one paradigm and how you've been connected to your creative fire, as well as just because the word responsibility is on this 10 of Bows, what kinds of responsibilities you've been holding or accepting or saying yes to. you're at the end of a paradigm in that. And it's saying, like, be conscious of the new paradigm opening up and dare to dream and dare to take risks based on things that make you feel like you're breathing easy because it's right for you. Okay, very interesting. All right, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. Kind of a big message to come through for just a season, right? A 6-week season, but there is something, it's like, the end of one road, and this time be courageous about what you let yourself dream of, and where you take yourself, and what you say yes to, and what you chase after. Do the things that make you feel graceful, that make you feel electric, that make you feel stable and solid in your emotions and nourished but in command in your mind. Yeah, very cool. All right, if this resonated for you guys, I always appreciate support. Likes, shares, and subscribes are easy ways to do that. Kind and thoughtful comments are always appreciated as well. But in general, thank you for being here and letting me read for you guys. Happy Mabon, and I will see you guys in future readings.